This is Joseph Waring reporting at LTE Asia in Singapore. Today I'm joined by the CEO of Orga Systems, Ramez Younan. Welcome, Ramez, and thanks for joining me today. As mobile broadband traffic soars, operators are grappling with the difficulty of having to invest in their 3G and 4G networks, yet the corresponding revenue isn't quite matching that. So can you give us some insight into how operators are dealing with that gap?
So you're absolutely right, Joseph. This is exactly where the challenge is, where you have seemingly decreasing revenues because of competition and increasing network costs. But the good news is that while seemingly it is reducing because of competition, it's actually the revenue streams are growing, where you have not only from telecommunications, but from all other industries, where you have the telecommunication itself raised maybe 2 billion connections, additional connections just in the last 2 years. The CAGR of telematics is soaring at 27%, utilities at 50+% in some regions. So in fact, there are more revenue streams. So the not so good news is that they're all using networks where if we actually continue to pump in linearly the necessary equipment and network resources to provide for this, we're seeing the network costs quadrupling. So the math tells you that you're going to have a very bad EBITDA at the end of the day. So you have to do something different. So the one different thing you have to do is to be able to continuously increase your offerings to pump up the revenues for different streams of revenue while reducing your cost of network resources.
So this is where policy management comes in.
Absolutely, and this is where one of the key building blocks of solving this saga, in fact. The policy management, what it does to you is that it regulates the network resources and redistributes it to your consumers and whether they're business or consumers, based on the tariff that they're on. So if you have a low-end consumer who's draining your resources, you are able to detect this in real time, slow it down to this particular subscriber, and pump it up during the peak hours to your business consumer or business customers who are more profitable, and therefore you are able to increase the customer experience, and by increasing the customer experience you increase the loyalty of that customer, reducing the churn and continuously improving your margins. Link this to a integrated rating and charging billing engine, and then you are able to actually provide an additional source of revenue for those people who are unable to access, or on the low end side, unable to access the service they requested, by providing an additional tariff, an additional charge for that session.
So operators are experimenting with different pricing plans. Why has it taken so long for them to look in this direction and move away from flat rate plans?
Well, the flat rate plans, let's remember, they were created before the boom in data. So they were, because a lot of competition came in, a lot of licenses were produced in different countries, and everybody wanted to attract the consumer and raise their market share by flattening the rates. But guess what happened? Everybody was thinking, oh, smartphones adoption is going to take a longer time, but now we're seeing that maybe actually even in Asia, a third of the population has smartphones today. So now the flat rate doesn't fit, so they are in a dilemma. Do I lose the flat rate and charge them by usage, and therefore I have the risk to alienate them and they move to another competitor who's still providing the flat rate? So this is the dilemma, and the only option we see is moving from flat rate to redistributed based on your charging, or somewhere in the middle where you have a combination of a flat rate with a cap, where you're able to have be continuously to use your session by additional tariffs and additional charges.
In your presentation yesterday, you talked about barriers to personalization, to service personalization. How could telcos better tailor their offerings and narrow the segment instead of going for a mass market approach?
Well, historically we only needed voice. So mass offering were very similar. We all want to talk, some of us talk longer than others, but that's about it. But now data explosion, data is in multiple, it's not just SMS, it's surfing, it's advertisement, it's videos, it's content, it's application, and so on. And the application itself, they soared 7 times during the last few years, and it's going to continue to do so. So, and if you look, not everybody is using the same application. So, in fact, we are all different. So this is where now the operators need to stop focusing on providing just access, but actually providing the suitable personalized access. So when you have an integrated policy management, rating in real time, charging in real time, then you're able to detect what network the consumer is actually using, being able to adapt the tariff in real time to provide them with personalized tariff or personalized offering where you are today. So if you're going towards a petrol station, you want to know where's this petrol station. If you go and pay with your mobile payment, and then you can get actually 2 cents off of your liter of gas, or equally in supermarkets and so on. So it's very personalized for you to be able to have this good customer experience as over and top of just the access.
So it's a big change for a lot of operators.
It is a big change, and if you look actually all the 9 out of 10 operators, they realize that they have to move to other industries. So they cannot tackle the same mindset of just access in other industries, because at the end of the day, they have to be able to understand that their consumer is using a utility, whether it's energy or water or payments or calls or surfing, and each of us are very different, and you have to be able to provide an offering that within the ecosystem of the consumer, in partnerships with over-the-top players, in partnership with other operators in other industries and so on.
Thank you, Ramez, for joining me today.
Thank you.